I'm excited about this panel. I think that we have an opportunity for an interesting and slightly more unconventional discussion about how to approach F&B and make it successful in a hotel context. I'm joined by Leanne Reddy. She's a commercial director at As Hotels, and by Ben Sorum, the general manager of Soho House. So, like I said, the conventional wisdom of restaurants and bars is good food, good service is a good venue. Now, those things are important, but I think that as we look at increasingly more challenging environments and where there's a lot of independent operators, there's a lot more that goes into making one of these restaurants successful. Ben, what are some of the other elements of approaching an F&B concept that are key to unlocking that success in the space?
I mean, there's not an easy answer to this one, as we know, especially being in Bangkok where it's highly, highly competitive. But we've seen over the past year a bit of a change where there's a few very creative, I would say, owners and operators who have taken unconventional spaces or less desirable spaces in anything from a hidden storage room in hotel lobbies or some basement area where they've just created a design-focused, design-driven, highly conceptualized, immersive experience in F&B. So I think it's about, again, creating an experience, but have it based on design and concept.
Yeah, so there's lots of opportunities in our more conventional hotel buildings where we can find unconventional opportunities to really unlock F&B. What other opportunities, Leanne, are you seeing in the market, especially here in Bangkok?
There's such incredible venues across this market, and the creativity is endless. What I find at a sales and marketing level is that are we truly aware that the leisure traveler is booking their hotel stay by the availability of a certain restaurant and getting a seat at the table? And I would really like to explore that with you all, because this is such a instant ability for us to increase our rooms revenue and our food and beverage revenue by purely being able to ensure that we're bookable and we're searchable and we're identifiable across all these platforms. The access to the entire customer journey to Thailand could actually be whether or not you have that guest being able to seat it at that table. And I was shocked, to be honest, after going out the last few weeks, is how hard it was to book so many amazing venues in this market. And I really go back to then sales and marketing fundamentals on how we have shared across so many different panels today that we've been in a post-2019 COVID phase, but fundamentally haven't relaunched in 2024.
Right, so almost the brand of the venue is driving the strength and identity of the hotel and the opportunity there. That strength and cohesive identity and a really sellable brand doesn't just matter to the guests you're trying to attract, but what other halo effects of this strong, compelling brand identity, Ben, can you see in how it comes to operating these restaurants?
Well, I mean, I think there was touched upon in a few other conversations here about finding the right talent. It's needle in a very large haystack. So something that could help with this is obviously having a very strong concept that creates that, I would say, excitement from top-level professionals, if it's chefs, front of house managers, bartenders, sommeliers. Having a strong storytelling angle to it as well, I think, is key to be able to attract some of the top-tier level. And that then trickles down when you have your line staff or your operating level staff, where if they aspire to become better or they're very passionate about the industry, they will often look up to who are they working with or who are they working for. So if you have chefs that travel around the world just to be working with certain iconic chefs, you have bartenders who follow iconic or trailblazing bartenders, and the same in the wine industry and in general operations. But starting off with a strong and very clear concept that offers something unusual, something different from what else is out there. I think that's a good starting point. But then, starting from the top, having inspirational team, and then having the aspirational frontline staff who are looking to learn and be inspired by these top-level people.
Yeah, I think that starting off piece is critical, and building that brand and identity around the concept really starts from the ground up, well before you get to the first day of operation. And so there's lots of opportunities for both restaurants that are about to relaunch and restaurants that have a chance to kind of rebrand. What are some of the most immediate opportunities, Leanne, that you see for operators and owners to really kind of take advantage of the landscape right now?
I know the owners and the investors in this room invest significant funds into the creation of the hardware, and we do know that marketing starts with the product. But then I would say, where is the sales and marketing line in that budget from the foundation of your concept and build? Because the landscape is highly competitive. The sales and marketing has to be run through every touch point to ensure the success of an independent or in a hotel independent food and beverage concept. And subsequently, I would really like to challenge everyone that if a project doesn't have a 5-year flow through for sales and marketing spend, and that's catered for in that process, then I would question whether or not it can be a successful project, because we constantly see this hardware being delivered, which is exceptional, but then very limited funds to launch and activate.
Yeah, there's no point in having a Ferrari if you don't have an engine under the hood. Now, trends is a trendy word. I think there's a sense of unrealized opportunity as well when we talk about how are things in the industry going to change. Ben, what do you think about some of these trends, like ways we can increase the quality and the speed, especially in beverage service, to address staff, address the guest expectations?
I think, it's a fine balance between looking at the numbers, making sure that you're running consistency and profitability as well in your food and beverage offering. But a lot of that comes down to prep, obviously. A lot of pre-bashing is being done, and people are integrating technology into service, if it might be on tap. Or I think that the whole thing where this comes down to speed and efficiency. Where, in my opinion, somewhat gone are the days of sitting and waiting 15-20 minutes for somebody to do a lot of majestic movements to get your perfectly crafted cocktail. At the end of the day, people, they want to drink, they want to be in a good environment with a good group of people. So sure, there's an appreciation for the craft, but streamlining, making sure that no matter if you got served by John today, if you're coming back tomorrow and it's Steven, you're going to get the same product at a consistent level. So I think that's some of the things we're going to be seeing. We can look into as well, trading hours. That's something as well that if you look at hotel operators or standalone F&B operators, it's been very hard to nail a concept that can, I would say, go from morning to lunch to evening, and how can you optimize between that? How can you have a place that you go for your coffee and your breakfast in the morning, but then also cocktails and dinner in the evenings, for example? So.
And I think there's a real need and desire to be educated, and that people want to be connected with the brand and what you're creating. So the brand extension, the workshops, the behind the scenes, the ability to get under the brand and feel like you're a part of the journey, I think will be key. It's very widespread across Europe, the ability to go into bars and to learn from the best in the industry, but that really hasn't been seen here in Thailand. And I feel that we have to give people a reason for a why, and that bar that is empty throughout the day has the potential to be a great education platform for the future customer to continue to have a connection to the brand.
Yeah, empty throughout the day is one of those issues that plagues individual concepts. How about things like cocktail bars that now no longer serve cocktails? The future is food, so that you have longer trading hours, or kind of getting two different concepts under the same umbrella from different operators, or looking at other sources of getting people in to operate that space for different purposes throughout the day. And how does that tie back into that brand identity piece?
Yeah, I mean, again, that's a tough one, right? But if we look at some opportunities, or overlooked opportunities maybe that might be out there, is you look at some of these key, I would say, iconic hotels of high level there in the city, who often sit on prime real estate, they might have some of the venues that could be outdated. Maybe the business center is not being fully utilized anymore. Maybe you only have 2 or 3 people sitting in there getting some work done. Retail shops or resort shops, where they're selling hats and sunscreen, maybe that could be converted into a chic little espresso bar that people, maybe even like locals from the outside, come in to visit, and just to get that full like immersive F&B experience. So I think getting a bit of creativity, taking an outsider's stance and look at the spaces that you're having and what you can do in these spaces, that could also be some overlooked opportunities that you have.
Well, thank you. So we've put together a handful of links here as well that include not only some of those trends we just talked about, but also we have a content calendar built out for 2024 that gives you all kinds of opportunities to start taking that brand and that identity of the F&B and pushing it out to all your potential guests and contacts, and also a checklist that can be applied starting tomorrow on how we can start looking at each individual F&B outlet in the hotel or as an independent operator and making sure we're checking these seemingly low-hanging fruit of is this brand, is our identity communicated effectively and functionally to our guests.
And I think the fact that we always need to focus on thinking global but speaking local. And throughout the day today, we learned a lot about the different data and the stats and the information coming to market. How relevant is the data that you have across all your branding touch points in the languages and in the platforms that are relevant to those customers?
Thank you.
Thank you.